All right, folks. So this being the third season, we transition into math as well. 555 is not working out. The energy moves, right? What we learn to do is go with the flow of the energy because the flow is in our favor. So we're going to be starting from 636 going forward. We felt the energy come in today. I said, okay, now's the time, right? A lot of this is us utilizing our sacral chakra in order to be able to tune in to what we feel we're resonating with from that layer up or that chakra up, right? So yeah, that's what we're moving to. But with all that being said, welcome once again to another episode of Building with Big King. Of course, I'm your host, Big King Sadiq, hollering at you one more again. Please, everybody, like, share, subscribe, and click the notification button. Indeed, we got to make sure we pump this out to more and more folks and get the algorithm moving back in our favor, right? So that indeed we are growing the worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. I thank you. I love you all. There is no movement without you. Thank you. All right. So we are continuing on the theme that we've been building on for the past several weeks, which is the varying states of where we have reached the ascending level, should I say, that we have reached of disclosure. Understanding that along the way, of course, the powers that be, quote unquote, or the elements controlled by the cabal of globalist, depopulationist elites, and their efforts to continue to, number one, monopolize the technologies that their shadow government elements, along with their corporate elements, have retro-engineered from these craft for well over 70 years. And again, I give way to the information presented by Dr. Stephen Greer, right, in terms of the disclosure movement, and can do nothing but applaud and salute his work in that area. I've been familiar with Dr. Greer's work myself personally for about between maybe 28 years or something like that, 26, 27, 28 years easily. And excellent work. You know, he's been continuing for that long, if not longer. And now it's apropos that we refer back to a lot of the information he's now aligning and assisting us all with, right? Hopefully you all got the disclosure document book. I got one, and it's definitely chock full of impressive information, documents that you can research yourself. It's always important, folks, to do free thinking, independent research. That doesn't matter if you're talking about me, Dr. Greer, or anyone. Don't just believe what anyone tells you. Always do free thinking, independent research, and know for yourself. Now, you might not have the time to just put in extensive research like, you know, some of us are just invested in that way, but you can do at least some quick research and fact checking to see and know what you're looking into or what information you receive. Do some diligence, right? And when you put your energy in that vein, you'll find yourself with a level of discernment that leads you to the right things, right? Or the things that you need for enlightenment at whatever stage you're at. But in terms of discernment, the disclosure movement and what's happening right now, folks, as I stated, at every level, they've had a response. So when there's more that people have become enlightened with or have discovered, right, or has been made more available to the people, there's always sort of a response or an effort by the cabal to quell that or to keep that information to a minimum or block the next level of evolution or discovery, should I say at least, of information that indeed assists your evolution in the higher consciousness. So what's happening right now is that their next response is turning out to be sort of their final or their crescendo event, right? What they want to build up to is they want to get the fear of a quote unquote alien invasion in people's minds prevalent enough for them to go ahead and pull off a false flag invasion that would convince people that an actual alien invasion is taking place. And then they can move to their extreme measures of one world government and whatever their agenda continues on to be, with a dystopian, nightmarish existence under the control and rule of the socially economic elite globalist cabal of the populationists, right? But we ain't having that. We ain't having that at all, because too many of us do know and are already prepared for such a thing and see right through it. And that number is elevating by the day, right? You ever stop and wonder and ask yourselves, why in the middle of all that is happening globally, right? You got all this military conflict, all these wars. You have even natural disasters of cataclysmic proportions, that some of which are record-setting, right? All over the globe, with a frequency that would make and has made a lot of people think that these are the end times of the planet, right? With all of that going on, and then all that's going on domestically, if you're talking about here in the U.S., all the domestic issues and the things that need to be done. We have a solid infrastructure with all that's going on. Why is there so much focus on censorship? Huh? Why are they worrying about what you look at on YouTube or on TikTok? Think about that, or some other social media platform. Why are they even concerned? Like, why would it even matter? I'll tell you why. Because the information that's being disseminated, spread widely to the masses, is changing things. It is sponsoring people moving more and more in the higher consciousness, right? It is aiding in this mass awakening. It's like a ripple effect, right? When you drop that one little pebble in the pond, those ripples just continue out, right? And that's what we're seeing taking place. And the response, the drastic response of this globalist cabal, is to try and prepare you first with their psyop tactics, right? To psychologically get you already hyper vigilant, right? And then once they get you to the point where you're expecting something, then they're going to come on with their big show, right? Because they got their own vehicles, but most people won't know the difference between a man-made vehicle that looks like a UFO, right? Most people won't know the difference and may become fearful. They may even try to use these vehicles for some form of an actual attack, and so they can blame it on aliens or whatever. Who knows what the plan is? But whatever it is, it's not going to be successful, because we're spreading awareness, and more people are already going to see through it. Like, we know what you're doing. Don't even do it. There's no point in even doing it, because we already know what you're doing. And that's why they're so concerned about what you're looking at, right? That's why they're so concerned and trying so vehemently to ramp up these censorship efforts, because they know they're trying to ramp up the fear factor before they make the move. So that's where we're at with disclosure. And I want to just back up that point, right? That more and more people are growing in awareness and already knowing and prepared, knowing and realizing, in fact, that many of these civilizations that may be quote unquote extraterrestrial or even extra dimensional are not that different from us. Many of them are actually in lineage, and do the science do the science behind it, folks. DNA is not localized on this planet. The same DNA that formed us from the great center of the galaxy and from the actual center of the universe, if you want to get back to our origins, from the creator, from source, right? The same DNA is out there. There are other humans throughout the galaxy, but I ain't gonna build on that. That's another level. The point is, don't be surprised if some of these quote unquote aliens look a little bit more like you. Ain't that something? Right? So they got you off. The point is, they want you to be hyper fearful of that mentality so they can get you in the mentality that is amiable, that is controllable, that is moldable, right? So that they can mold you into a fearful, hyper vigilant puppet that they can control and move right along into their dystopian agenda. Right? But we're not with that. And I'm going to give you an example of how it is spread. And if I may, go ahead and introduce the good brother Ron, right? And he's going to speak to the people a little bit about his level of awareness and his perspective and point of view. Everybody has a different point of view and perspective, and they're all valid. That's another thing that we're moving forward with different as we're establishing this new paradigm. As we're building it, you're building with Big King, remember that. As we're building this new paradigm brick by brick, is that we don't shut each other out. We don't say what you gotta say is invalid because what I say goes, or what I think is right and you're wrong. It's not about right and wrong. It's about different perspectives. So I'm gonna share with you the brother's perspective. Thank you, family.
Thank you,
Come
bro.
on, rock to the people.
Appreciate you, bro.
Brother Ron, go on ahead and speak to him one time, man.
How's everybody? Of course, my first time here. Actually, my first time. I've seen him before, but
Big King Sadiq.
Sadiq. Yeah, I've seen him. I actually seen him on, I guess, one of these YouTube podcast things. But today, man, we got together. He asked me, told me what he was going to do, what he had going on. And I'm like, wow, this is right up my alley. Not only that, see, the manifestation is like within. So it's like, I mean, whenever I speak something, it's just like, I don't have to look nowhere. And my thing is, everything that I do is right within inside of me. So whenever I speak, it's real. I don't, whenever I hear somebody like, kind of like question who, I don't want to look at myself. You know what I mean? Like I already did that. So for me, looking out, it's different. People see me and they like, man, I don't know what the heck. I mean, all the time I get like, I don't know ever what you're talking about ever. So it's like,
because there's a lot of misinformation out there where they don't want a lot of people even discussing, you know, well, previously, because right now it's kind of out in the open, right? There's discussions on the floor of Congress right now where they're talking about the UFO or UAP subject. But what are your thoughts on like the star families, you know what I'm saying, and how they trying to get us all fearful of the brethren, sistren, right? They may, and we got to start to change our mentality as well, folks, right? We really are in some form, at least energetically or spiritually, brethren and sistren, we're family to these extraterrestrials or extra dimensional folks, and the more we have that kind of a vibrational frequency, the more you ain't got to worry about anybody anywhere, right? Because they're on the same vibe, and that's what you attracting to you. It's the negative, low vibrational frequencies like fear, right? That create negative outcomes. So, like, bro, what do you think about the star families in the what they would technically say the extraterrestrials or the extra dimensional beings? What you think about the family? What you think the family got to offer to us?
That's heavy because I've been thinking about this perspective for a long time, and my thing is we are who we are, but no one else can tell us who we are. So within, and they can say whoever is coming here, we're already here. Whoever they say they are is who's already here. They're trying to confuse us like they did from the start. Like, this ain't no secret. Like we there was many Earths here, so there was many times we did this thing over and over. We're old here, you know. We're not old in their time. We're old in our time, and it's time for us to not have to continue to do this over and over. We don't have to come here over and over. We chose to come here because we have a right here, and I want to set everybody free because I came here for just that reason. My name is not Ronald Weathers no more. It is, but we're gonna put him to the side for a little bit because I got shot in 08 and I lost everything, whatever that meant in that system. You know what I'm saying? Well, really, to be honest, yesterday, July 4th, I was a part of NA Life, and I became, that was my day, July 4th. I'm in jail. July 4th, I'm sitting in the cell, and I'm thinking to myself, independence ain't really independence. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I had to look within. That independence was, we were an empire. So the independence for the nation, or whatever they called us here, was the United States. The independent was them separating themselves from the empire.
Now, speaking of separation, there's something that you build on that was real dope, and that I want everybody to know. You can research and check on yourself, right? You were talking about the connection between the fact that we already been here and that this is not the first time. That, folks, just so you know, there is archaeological evidence that human beings have started, that, in other words, civilization, the same way we started from what we would call quote unquote primitive man and then evolved to where we're at right now, right? That's the process I'm referring to. There is archaeological evidence that this is not the first time. So when the brothers say we've been here before, that's real, right? That there are probably at least 4 or 5 times that humanity has started and stopped on this planet. When I say stopped, I mean came to a cataclysmic end, like what is referred to in the Great Flood or the Deluge, right? But that, just know that that's a thing, right? And there's connections to that. And along with knowledge of that is connections to, this is why it's so important for us to understand the ancient civilization's connection to what we refer to as the star family now.
This thing sitting on your face.
Yeah. So indeed.
What I want to interject real quick is that for us to know, like what he's saying is, we've all been one. You know what I'm saying? It was up to us. It was involuntary from the start until we made a decision to apply, the application was to our credit. That was when we voluntarily signed up for whatever, which was the bull crap. We're in between everything. So in order for us to get right with ourselves, we have to take ownership of everything. And that's, like he said, those conversations may be for other topics. And we're talking about the extra, that they say extra. They're simply talking, they're trying to confuse us with who we are. They always speak outside of ourselves, of course, outside of us, to let us know who they're talking about. They're simply talking about us, who now we're opening up. Like he said, the chakras, we're at the levels where we have infinite strength within. It's our heart. They can't get to our heart and get to our conscience. They get to our brain somehow or another, but they can't get to our heart. We are who we are. Once we realize that we're royal from the start, no one else can take anything from you, and the absolute value is us. Each individual is, like he said, it's spiritual. This is our spiritual credit. Our credit is a spiritual, and it's not credit; it's our capital. So there's a difference, and there no talk about no money. It's funds. And we have funds for life. We got infinite funds.
And then there's another thing on that spiritual aspect, right? So we wonder how even.
Oh, okay.
We wonder how even, like, the Catholic Church would open up and say that they would want to bring in extraterrestrials, right, into the fold in some way, shape, or form. So some really would be mind-boggled by that, because they're not thinking about the fact that, well, it doesn't matter the fact that they're extraterrestrial, they have spiritual aspects as well, right? So yes, we are all one on the spiritual level, even extraterrestrials. A physical vessel is, again, just a physical vessel. It carries the energetic aspect of the being inside the vessel, whether it's me, you, or one of these extraterrestrials, right? Or extra dimensionals. So folks, I'm gonna thank Brother Ron, because we got to get ready to close out. But you see that a lot of people are having conversations that we just weren't having 20 years ago, 15, maybe even 10 years ago. Awareness is spreading because these conversations are being had more and more. Brother Ron, thank you.
Thank you for having me in.
Hey, man, I appreciate you tremendously. This was all impromptu.
Yeah, it was. It was
right?
Nice. I appreciate it.
And thank you. We thank you truly. And that's
fans,
because
man, I appreciate that.
That shows you this is all real. This is all live and occurring, right? If you could walk down the street and break that barrier that they would like for us to have, right?
That's it.
And just talk to one another, have a conversation. You don't have to agree on everything each other says, but you'll usually find you got some common ground. And it is in those conversations that disclosure is exploding and taking place more and more. It's those conversations that they may not want us to have, but we are having. And we're, along with the conversations, going back and doing research. And when we do research, we're discovering more and more. And as we discover more and more, we're bringing more and more back to the next conversation. That's the process, folks. Let's keep it going. Let's continue disclosure on our own by having these conversations, by going back and doing the free-thinking, independent research, and by bringing more of that shared information back to new conversations. That is how we build a new paradigm, right? One conversation at a time is one brick at a time. And that's how we build the foundation. Thank you for building with Big King another week. I thank you all. I love you all. Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq. I'm out.